All right. What's one wifey duty you think gets unfairly placed on women today?
That's how we started off.
Oh yeah, you know
That's
how
how we
it
started
is.
off.
It
One
keeps
wifey
saying
duty
corny.
that's unfairly placed on women.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Unfairly placed on women.
Yes.
Okay, so we're just assuming one, right?
Oh.
Okay, so let's say uh taking the kids to the doctor's appointment. That's a
Oh,
good one. Taking kids to the
that's
doctor.
a good
And I'm
one.
saying that because I had to take my daughter
Mm-hmm.
yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, you don't know how much you don't know,
Mm.
and how much your wife knows all that stuff, and you sitting there calling like, what's her, what day was she born?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, the medical dentist doctor visit for sure. They got that unfair. It should be more evenly distributed, but I'm only speaking because I had the experience yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that one.
Good. That's a good one. And what I love about that one, it wasn't the shallow cooking and cleaning one, because here we get deep in the keepsake corner. Y'all know what
Yes,
it
sir.
is. So let's do the guest toast. We got my boy Elliot in the building. Raise.
How you doing? Cheers.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. We are sipping today in the keepsake corner. Y'all know what it is, the safe space where we come in here and talk about everything, anything, and whatever else in between. If we get off topic, we might get back on, but if not, type in the chat, type in the comment, and let us know what's going on. But y'all heard taking the children to the doctor. See, this is what I'm talking about the camera. Would y'all get back on my boy Elliot? Wave your hand to the left, to the right.
What's going
I don't
on?
even know.
Computer not. I mean, camera not messing with me. Huh?
This is why we always hold that thought. All right, so we get back on my boy Elliot. So Elliot, you are married.
Married. Yeah.
Yes. So going back to the wifey duties. Because I, for one, y'all know your girl, I don't like those terms. I don't like a lot of terms that y'all throw around here. But that wifey duties, I just think that maybe the term is unfair. Period. All right. So if we're gonna go with the shallow, and I'm gonna tell you why it's all unfair, because I like, for the reason you said, if we're gonna go with the kid, who said that the woman is the one to take them to the doctor?
Nobody. Nobody.
You know who said when the child is sick, that is the one
Right.
to go. Who goes to the parent conferences?
We both do.
See, that's good. So then why was it not like we both gonna go to the doctor?
Nah.
You see what I mean? Yeah. It's always
Yeah.
like the thing. And I'm not saying neither right or wrong, good or bad.
But they started off with each other in the doctor, right? Because they both went to the hospital for her the baby to be born. So they bonded at the doctor. That's what they.
You was there though.
I was there. I was there.
They're bonding too.
I was there. I was asleep for most of the time until it was showtime.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, you're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Now, and again, it's just one of those things that it goes into. It's like, are we not are we falling too much into society, but honestly, society is taking the lead.
Yeah.
We're blaming society on certain things, but society is taking the lead.
Yeah. It's still certain choices you making on your own though.
Yes.
You still got to make the decision.
Absolutely.
It's like, like when someone's like, oh man, I tried crack for the first time. It wasn't like society said you must take crack. Like, you must take it. Nah, you was like, hey, I'm gonna try crack.
Yeah.
And then you happen to turn into a crackhead. I mean, you just happen to. I mean, but these are choices though. So society, I think society can impact the choices you make, but they still don't make the choice for you.
Oh my God. Oh, I be having my light bulb moments, y'all, and then my boy Elliot be giving them to me, and I'm glad you said that. I always go off script. I'll be having the whole thing. Then I get the first question out, then I'll be like, all right, so look. Yeah. So, but I'm glad because this has been on my brain for a couple of days now, and I'm glad you brought that up. Choices. Mm-hmm. I am not a man. Mm-hmm. I am not a father. Mm-hmm. But I often hear hear the men talk about how the problem with the homes and the broken homes is because the government said, in order for the man or for the family to get this, then the man have to be out the house. So a lot of men, there they go. Back on.
No, that's a good one. That's a good solo shot.
No, okay, thank you.
Oh, now we zoom back out.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's the hand motion.
It might be. I might have to do more hand. But
okay, so they say, oh, the reason why is this in order to get the food stamps, man. Okay, cool.
Section 8, no,
Section 8, the man have to be at the house. So I've been thinking, right? Because I haven't experienced either one of them. Like I didn't take my daughter for daughter's father for child support. I was never. I wanted Section 8, like I wanted it,
But you had to go to child support in order to get Section 8, right?
You know what? I was 18, so I think that we weren't married,
right?
So it wasn't.
Oh, so they have okay.
Yeah, gotcha. I could have been like a. Yeah. That's the only time, like that it was like, oh, I didn't go for any of that, but I didn't do all of that. So I say that to say that was my choice, right? Right. So again, I'm not a man, but tell me, when it comes to that, when the fella said that, in my mind, I'm like, so don't get out the house.
Yeah.
Like it was a choice, for whatever, because the guys that I know, like yourself and the guys that were around, you guys are go-getter. You guys are, we're gonna get on the whole providing thing different, right? You guys make it do what it do. So I'm wondering at that time, at what point, like everybody's situation is different. I'm not saying that. Is different. But wasn't it a choice for the man to be like, nah, we gonna figure out how to get just say if it was
it's
government assistance, like
I think it's a choice, but it's a choice based on circumstance, right?
Okay.
And then you also gotta recall the person you decide to procreate with, right? Who you decide to procreate with.
Okay.
What situation are both of y'all living in professionally? What kind of emotional IQ both of y'all have?
Okay.
What kind of relationship y'all have? You know what I mean? I think all of those things are dependent. And I think one of the reasons why this is such a point of conflict is because a baby doesn't change the dynamics of the relationship for both sides. So, like, for example, you'll have a kid, and a lot of women have, I don't want to say a lot of women, but I know some women have kids, and they say, well, I'm going to have this kid because it'll help me keep this nigga. Right? Yes. And then some other women are like, well, I'm going to have this kid because I want to have a kid, just regardless of the nigga.
Right.
And then there's some women that are like, well, according to my religion, I can't get rid of this kid because I don't do abortions, so on. So it's a bunch of different circumstances that impact it. And I feel like depending upon the circumstance, it's always that choice was already gonna be made, whatever it is, because whatever his idea of it was. But the thing is, for every man, like a child don't trigger like fatherhood like encoding, right? Or what is it, like inherent ability to say, I want to be a great father. Okay. It don't trigger like that for everybody. Especially if the relationship with the woman ain't one that he feels, I want this woman to be the mother of my child, or I want to be with this woman long term, or I'm with this woman for more than just what I can get from her. Right? So you kind of playing it wrong if you thinking, hey, well, let's make a decision about this. Because maybe that person doesn't have any intention on being with her beyond, hey, I was just trying to have sex with you. I was trying to get something from you. So these surrounding circumstances are impacting that decision. Like you're talking about, well, let's get on welfare. Well, we can't do welfare. I'm gonna just hustle and get my money so my kid is straight.
Yeah.
That doesn't, you got to think of the circumstances.
Yes.
It's fucked up, but it is what it is.
Okay. Great. So we need to stop blaming the government.
No, it's not the government. It's not the government at all. It's the choice you make.
Yes.
You make that decision to do that.
Right.
And I'm not saying you're not wrong for it.
Right. Absolutely.
It's a resource. Like I think that's when people get fucked up, right? Resources are there to be used, right?
Yes.
Like if you're on Section 8, get your shit off. If you're on government assistance, get your shit off. I don't know if those resources were actually made for you to stay on them for the rest of your life.
Come on, Ellie.
But also, like they say, people adapt to anything. Like you can put a person anywhere and they're gonna adapt their lifestyle to wherever they at. And so if you're using like government assistance all the time, and this is how you getting your shit off, and you got money on the side, and You got enough to where you comfortable where you at. And once you're comfortable, sometimes you don't have motivation to move. Oh, my kids are fed. They got clothes. They got in some terms they got nice shoes or nice clothes or whatever the case may be, and I look better than where my actual station in life is.
Right.
I'm cool here, and I'm gonna just stay there and I'm gonna milk this system. Like I know people staying in nice ass houses on Section 8, paying $500-$600, and then I'm looking at my $3,000 rent, and I'm like, well, damn.
Man, listen.
Like, well, damn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I understand, like, hey, if I'm paying $600 for rent, that means whatever my other part of my paycheck is going to, and then I won't have to use it on groceries because I got government assistance for that too. So it kind of creates a dependency if you allow it to. But like I said, these are still choices.
Yes, choices. And then, like you said, not meant to stay on it. Again, like I said, I wish I had Section 8 at 18. I'm 18 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
yes, but I don't think that here right now, at this big age that I am,
no, they gonna work.
Would have still been on Section. I just needed to get by for whatever it was
until you got cracking what you got cracking.
Right. And then too, also with that, like you're saying, not meant to be stayed. I'm thinking, and I'm not trying to cheat the system or nothing like that. But again, if you just needed to be out of the house, you out the house, that didn't mean you couldn't see your children.
Right, 100%.
You know what I mean? 100%. That didn't mean you couldn't provide. That didn't mean you couldn't do anything. But again, I'm all about trying to take a negative situation and turn it positive, right? Because again, it's not just based on my experience. No, I chose not to take my child, father, for child support.
Yeah.
But I do hear a lot of fathers that are like, okay, I'm already giving her this,
right,
and I still have to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, everybody don't have that itch. Like, I think people gotta understand your view of parenthood and being a parent ain't the same as the other person, right? Everybody don't view parenthood the same. Exactly. Like I know people that say, well, when my kids get older, I'm gonna make sure I have all my money right. I'm gonna pay for everything. I'm gonna make sure they got all their school paid for. And I also know people that got great jobs. I'm like, nigga, my kids are gonna get a loan and they're gonna pay for their own school the same way I did. Right. But I feel like there's no handbook to this parenting, right? Because the thing is, right, like I always think about this, like if there wasn't no bad parents, we might not have a lot of great people. Right? Like, and I ain't saying I'm not advocating for bad parenting. Right. But what I'm saying is, like, imagine if LeBron James' dad was there. That nigga may not be who he is today, right? You know, and it sounds fucked up. Yeah. But a lot of that early turmoil and different situations, it builds character, and you got a perseverance that allows you to do great shit. Now, granted, he's probably dealing with his own personal shit as everybody else is. But what I'm saying is, you can, like, parenthood to me is different everywhere you go. Like I remember when I was in school, they was talking. I don't want to go too far off a tangent, but in Greece, the Spartans, what they did, they would take their kids as young kids and they throw them in like fights and like, nigga, you getting off your mind, we're gonna have you fighting and preparing for battle. And if you survive it, nigga, you'll grow up and become a Spartan warrior. If not, you'll be like you'll either die or you'll be like a lower level citizen. But all we doing is raising warriors. And I'm pretty sure in their mind, they're like, we're doing the best we can to raise the type of child that we want to raise based on a formula that we think works. Yes. That's for everybody. I got homies whose parents was members way before they was born, and they was members when they was born, and they was members when they was older, and they grew them to be the same thing. And who am I to say they right or wrong? Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like every flavor ain't for everybody. Yeah. And I say we're doing the best with the resources that we have. Right, exactly. No matter good or bad resources. Information and resources. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, even for me, grew up in a 2-11 parent home, but it was still, okay, since you want to be. That's a cool lifestyle shot. You did. But still, it was, and look, I forgot my thought. Look, I be throwing myself up. I grew up in a 2-11 2-parent home. And still. Lost it, but still, no? Lost it. Okay. We'll get back to it then. Yes, we're going to get back. Ha! Resources! And there you go, resources. But yet and still,
as I am older and I have my own child, I'm like, they had limited resources. And I am sure I have limited resources 100%. Now as well. But I have more resources than my parents did.
100%.
And I'm not faulting them for not having the resources that they did not have, because there's still some things that I know now that they still don't even want to touch. Technology, whatever it is, they're still asking questions now. But it's because they didn't have that back then.
See, but the irony of that too is, right, like, so for example, like with you raised your daughter by yourself, right? So you got to think your parents, you still had your dad and you had your mom, so they had that resource of kind of molding you and your brother to whoever they wanted y'all to be, and obviously the great people that y'all turned out to be, right?
Yes.
So it's interesting because I do think like our generation has a way of looking back at our parents, and a lot of these niggas be having like a judgmental thought, like, oh, you shouldn't have been whooping me like that. You should have listened and talked to me more, and yada yada yada, and blah blah blah. But then there's something like, oh, you whooped me and saved my life, and yada yada yada.
Yes.
And I don't think emotional IQ was great with our parents, but they were giving us tangible life skills and like work ethic that I don't think this generation is getting from their parents, because everybody's a participation trophy parent.
Yes. Absolutely. And also too, it's like as I've gotten older, but I'm like this anyway, give your parents some grace.
Yeah.
Because I am at the age that my mom had like it's the same. We're all 20 years apart. Like, give or take some months or so. And I'm going through my own things, and life is life for me. And I have my own child, and I think about my mom. Yeah. And like, oh my goodness.
Yep.
They were still trying to figure, because all I know is my mom is my mom. I don't know her as Valerie.
Exactly.
I don't know Cookie, y'all.
Yeah, and they trying to figure their own shit out.
Right.
While getting you right. It's crazy. Like I said, it's always crazy when you think about it, because I know, like, my mom, she went to some college. She didn't graduate. My dad graduated, but my mom and dad, like, they divorced when I was like, I want to say like maybe like 5 or something, like 5 or 6 or whatever the case may be. And then it was just like, you spend time with your dad, you spend time with your mom, but the households were so different. You know what I mean? And then like I said, they going through their own shit, right? My mom never remarried or nothing like that. She's just like, well, I'm gonna just pour into my kids and then my work and make sure everything is straight. My dad remarried multiple times, right? And so you getting both dynamics, but like I said, everybody going through shit, and you don't really realize it till you got your own and you dealing with your own shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And like you said, the key word is now everybody's being judgmental.
Right.
Give everybody grace.
Yes.
Everybody was not raised the same way, and they don't have the same tools.
Right.
Like you said.
100%.
And even not only that, from our generations, from our parents too. Even if we are similar, we don't have to be the same.
Exactly.
So many. And then stop trying to give your kids what your parents ain't gave you.
Oh my God. They raising terrible kids like that.
Oh my God.
Terrible kids.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
And you didn't have to have all that. Think about it now. Are you crying over something? I can't remember. I mean, I wasn't one of those that wanted much, but I'm pretty sure I wanted a pony.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
Yeah, you good.
I didn't throw no tantrum. I'm right. I'm doing all right in life without the pony. I'm pretty sure I got the doll that I wanted and some other things like that.
Yeah.
But stop giving your kids. They will not remember it. They will.
It's fleeting. It's real fleeting. Like I know. Like I remember. I never was. I'm gonna give my kids everything my parents didn't give me. But I do know there's a lot of parents out there that give themselves everything that their parents didn't give them while they was younger, right? And so what happens there is like you get those adult children like reliving aspects where they feel like they were avoided as a kid. Like, oh, my mom never bought me new shoes, so now every chance I get, I'm gonna buy myself new shoes. Or oh, my mom never let me drink soda, so now my house stays with sodas. Whatever the case may be, it's these voids that when they're not trying to give it to their kids, they giving it to themselves, and it's creating this like almost a competition of resources with your own kids sometimes. It's real. It's a real problem, and it's real weird.
Yes.
But I don't want to say it's real weird. I mean, I guess it's just people. It's just people got to deal with it. It's weird to me. It's weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Again, I start to think, because everybody went, oh, back in the day.
Right.
But this day, let's just say this day, right. This day today, everybody's got for themselves. Yeah. And I don't know where that came
Super
from.
selfish.
I'm wondering if the pandemic has something to do with it. I'm not sure yet. Don't quote me on that one because you know your girl got to do some more research. But I just feel like maybe the pandemic put everybody in survival mode.
Yeah.
Where they just had to fend for themselves. Yeah. And now, because everybody's so defensive now. Yep. Everybody's for themselves. Yeah. Like I said, nobody gives anybody grace, and it's all judgmental.
Yeah, 100%. It's weird. It's real weird, and I do think the if it, I don't think the pandemic was the reason, but I think what the pandemic did, it accelerated that part of everybody's personality. Like, cause you know, like for example, like getting on the freeway is a good measure of people's personality, right? Like there's that person you're trying to merge over, right? And then as you're trying to merge over, it's that one person like, no, don't worry about it, just go ahead, go through. Solid person, right? Then you got that one person, the passive aggressive, where you're trying to make eye contact with them, and they're hell bent on making sure they don't make eye contact with you, so they feel justified without letting you over.
Right.
Then you got the asshole that's just like, no, I see you, that's cool. I got somewhere to go, so I'm gonna keep pushing in front of you, right? And then obviously on the other side, you got the asshole that just cut in front of you, and whatever happens to my car happens, right? But what I gave that example to kind of state that in the pandemic, like that toilet tissue shit. Do you remember the shit that happened with toilet tissue?
Yes.
When people were hoarding toilet tissue, and my thought process was always, you gonna be in the house all day. How much shit are you really doing to where you hoarding toilet tissue as if we're not coming out of this pandemic for like the next 10 years?
Out of all things. Though.
Yeah, out of all things. Tissue. Yeah, it wasn't the water. The water I still was able to get water. I was able to get like produce and stuff. Right. But toilet tissue was gone. Like, nah, y'all not shitting. Like, it's crazy to me. It was crazy. And people were hoarding things to the point where, like, dude, like, they start putting limits on what you can buy. Yes. And it's like for example, when you bring donuts to the office party, and it's like, all right, everybody can get a donut. That don't mean, nigga, you get 6 donuts, and now everybody's got to figure out how to eat the next 4. Right. And it's 20 of us in here. You see what I'm saying? And so I feel like what it did, it put people in a mode where I'm just trying to make sure I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want you to come close to me. Right. I don't want you to talk to me. I got this mask on. You stay over there. That shit created like a point where it was disconnection.
Yes, like dehumanized.
Yes. Yeah, dehumanized everything.
It
made
us all look icky to everybody.
Yeah, facts.
You know.
Facts. And then we get all this fake connection too, right? Because everything's all virtual now. Like, hey, like streaming became huge, right?
Yes.
Right? And then like people were like, well, fuck it. Well, if I can't communicate with people, I'll create these false communications, this false community through like me streaming and me just talking to people every day. People that you don't really see. The only way they live through you is through comments. Like, yes, girl, oh my God, whatever the case may be. But it's still like a false connection because it's like, yeah, whoop-de-whoop. But you're not actually touching, you're not actually seeing, because like I feel like a part of communication, verbal, you got to be able to see it.
Yes.
You know what you're saying? You got to be able to kind of read cues. Like, I feel like that's the problem with kids now. Like, my youngest daughter was born during the pandemic. So she went a whole year without actually getting interaction with people. So she not good at reading social cues. She don't like being around people that wasn't in the house during the pandemic.
So that's the problem with the dog.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, like I didn't have those socialization. Like we're a social being, right? Humans are real social. Like the only way that we really survive is because we communicate, we socialize, and we build on thoughts, and we exchange ideas and currency, yada 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 yada.
Yes.
If you don't do that for a whole year, 2 years, what do you expect?
And people are so quick to be like, well, you don't know my life.
Right.
It was only 30 minutes on the camera. Well, that's all you giving me.
That's all I get. Right.
You make it real 30 minutes. Don't make it a fake 30.
Exactly.
Like, give me what you got. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And that's when it holds up. But, a lot did come out of the pandemic. That's the reason why I didn't do much during the pandemic for myself, because I was always in person.
Yeah.
That was my thing. And I didn't even feel comfortable. People like, do it. I'm not even going to do that. That's going to be a discount, like a disservice to my people and for myself. I wouldn't be like,
it ain't the same. It ain't the same. Zoom ain't real life. You know what I mean? It's always fun. Like I feel like what it is. Zoom was kind of like, I know when people was going to work, it was kind of like a metaphor of how people would like present themselves to like their coworkers and stuff. Like what happened is the top would be professional, but then the bottom they be pantsless. They be they
oh, guilty.
They real pajama pants. Yeah, their real personality is under there though. But it's kind of like the way people present themselves to you in the workplace or in like the beginning of relationships. Like, well, I want you to see this top half. I got everything put together and stuff. But really, the demons is living on the lower half of the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
and
super crazy.
Just the fact that we have the podcast here and I just love it. But again, turning a negative into a positive. Yeah. Because for me, I like to have this one-on-one space uninterrupted. You know, I have the mixers in person and they're amazing, but it's always like yeah. That ain't in like it's because different personalities, different ways of different perspectives. They're called the battle of perspectives. And you get in there, and like I said, you meet somebody, and I'm like, so speaking of that, let's get on again. We get on topic, off topic. The whole expectations things, because it's actually segue into it because we're saying so many people. I say people don't even know themselves these days.
Nope. That's
and so when it comes up with expectations and standards, you're trying to put something on somebody. You don't even know yourself. You don't even know if you really want that or not.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and I'm not gonna say I learned it the hard way, but I learned it a way because it wasn't hard. It was just a way that I learned it. So for an example, I met a guy and I'm telling, and this wasn't an expectation, but it's an example. I'm like, oh my God, like I like fine dining. You know what I'm saying? I like this and that. But it's not that I like fine dining. I just like a nice restaurant. So then after that, he's like, okay, no problem. So we go to a few, but it was one night where I just did not feel like getting dressed. I didn't feel like going nowhere. And I'm like, oh my God, like, can we just eat like, some pizza? He's like, yeah. So I say that was light. Yeah. But I say that to say it was for me not to put out there something that I can't even maintain myself. Right. And that's just on the lower scale because y'all be on the grand scales and stuff that y'all can't even maintain yourself. But that is just an example. Like, because for him, it could have been like, now I'm thinking in my mind, I always got to take you to a fine, and I can use the word fine dining. And I don't even want that. I really want some pizzas, some chili cheese dogs, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, you got to, and I think, like I said, like, I feel like what happens too in the dating world is people listen, but they don't hear. Right? Because I can tell you, I love to go hiking. Nigga, I don't want to go hiking every day. Like, now, Elliot, that's what I'm talking you know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. I like to go to museums. Nigga, every date we go to can't be a museum. Right? And so I feel like what happens is we listening to things, and I feel what happens with relationships. And that's why I know a lot of people in relationships aren't good salespeople, right? I've been in sales like my whole career, whatever, right? And what happens is people listen and they just grab whatever they grab because they're actively listening for something that they can key in on. Yes. Instead of actually hearing the full breadth of the thought, right? Because you say, I like fine dining because my dad used to take us to a nice dinner once every month. And that dinner used to stick in my mind. And so that's exactly what it was. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So what happens in that scenario though is that on the surface, listen, as soon as you're fine dining, I gotta take this girl out to eat nice places every night. So now you done cashed out, you spent all this money, and you're giving her something that at first she didn't want, right? So this is what happens. At first she may not have wanted it that way. You were really telling me that to say every month, once a month, let's go to a fine place or something like that. But now I'm doing it every time we go out. Yeah. Now I've changed who you are. Right? So now I've changed the expectation level you have. So now I'm like, well, nigga, every time we go out, nigga, we better be going to fine dining. Exactly. And if you take me to Denny's, I'm gonna look at you this way. Because nigga, if you been taking me to fine, think we was at Ocean Prime all the time and all this shit. It's because you only listening to the surface. Now, if you heard the whole way through, it's like, oh, she just want to have special dinners every now and then. Because the thing too is, if I do something with you all the time, it's not special no more. Exactly. Like Morton's and what Morton, I don't want to give Morton's ain't that nice, whatever. But whatever, a nice restaurant that you can think of, anyone you can think of. If I take you there all the time,
that shit has lost its luster. It's the same way of people that buy luxury cars, right? When you first get it, like, oh my God, this car is so nice. I love this shit. Then it's like, duh, it's a car at the end of the day. You be slamming the door the same way you slam your other door. You be dropping fries in the crevices of that shit and they be getting stained up. And then you like, damn, I just paid $110,000 for this car. My note is almost as much as almost half or as much as my rent.
Yes.
And now I'm doing a fool because I look cool when I'm in it every now and then. But now I'm only just getting the A and B. And that's what I'm saying. So if it's something special, it's got to be special. Like I don't think the intention of fine dining is, hey, you should be going here every time you go out on date night.
Right.
It's losing its luster.
Essentially, I mean, this on topic, off topic, but I just think about it, they all sell the same thing. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that one is not better than the other.
Right.
They all, so I say that, I don't want a lobster mac and cheese every week because I don't creamy spinach.
Yeah.
They all had to say, I don't want
need
that every week.
Exactly.
I'm with you on that.
But going back to expectations, you know what I'm saying? These people expectations are in line with what you allow or you're gonna give, right? Because a lot of times, like for example, like I guess the a lot of younger women these days or people in the dating pool, I feel like people say shit, but the reality is somewhere in between or different, right? Maybe she's giving you these high ass standards because if you can't meet them, there's no love lost for her because she didn't really want to deal with you in the first place, right? Right. It's the rejection of standards, right? If I create this high standard, you can be like, nigga, I'm not doing all that shit. Rejection of standards. Right, you know what I'm saying? So like you can't meet that standard, like cool, that nigga gonna leave me alone. I ain't gotta worry about it. Right? Then you got other people like nigga, oh, but she fucking a broke nigga. Yeah, she actually liked that nigga. Yeah. Whether it be for aesthetic, whether it be for something that nigga got personality wise that draws her to that. But I think sometimes you gotta take when people give you outlandish standards, like bet. So clearly you're not really into trying to make this work, and that's fine. I'm gonna cut my losses and I'll be done. We don't gotta deal with you. Like I don't have to have you. Like I feel like sometimes niggas be taking rejection as a challenge to try to well nigga I gotta go harder to get her. Yes. Like no nigga.
No.
Let her go.
And to also if they don't align and if you can't meet them or if you don't like them, like you said, walk away. Like you don't you just don't have to meet them. Right. And they don't have to align. You don't have to to compete for them or nothing else. Yeah. Because that's the rejection, like you saying, turns into competition.
Exactly.
And they don't even know who the other dude is, if there is another dude, but they competing with somebody they don't even know.
Even if it's not so it's a thing called like for example when you at a table and you're doing sales whatever you're in a proposition with a business you give them a proposition, say hey, this is how much it's going to cost, what do you think, and you're supposed to shut up. But the reason you shut up is because you don't want to be in competition with yourself. Right? So a lot of times you be thinking, well, I'm in competition with the nigga that ain't here, so let me make sure I give her money. Got it? Like my nigga. Sometimes you just competing against you. You're making it harder for yourself. Yes. And everything you do is creating a tick mark into the personality and expectations she's gonna have moving forward with you. So like if the first time I pick you up, I'm picking you up and I'm looking like $1,000,000, I'm making you feel like $1,000,000. You're gonna have $1,000,000 as a standard in your mind. Especially if I do that the second date, third date, fourth date, I have $1,000,000 expectation for you now. But the reality is, relationships, I'm not doing that shit. It's sometimes I'm at the house with my wife. I don't want to be bothered. I'm not gonna be honey, sweetie, give me kiss and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like leave me the fuck alone. And sometimes you're annoyed because we gonna get annoyed because we always around each other. And my wife usually says this one thing, and it's funny as fuck. She's like, oh, you don't be talking to other people like that. And then I'm like, yeah, because I don't deal with them as much as you.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Because the fact is, I'm not going to always, like, our relationship has to be somewhere different than just decorum, how we speak to each other all the time. And I'm not saying you're supposed to speak down to your significant, but I'm saying that everything can't be my best foot forward at all times. It's not realistic.
Oh, I say it all the time. I say like everybody can't be 100.
Yes.
And I'm talking, Krista, my best friend. So I told her this on Money Mondays. I was like, everybody can't be 100. Sometimes you got to pick up the other side. She gonna say, like, real? Like 100? I was like, no, Krista, not keeping it real. She was like,
my
what
God.
you mean? I was like, no.
Oh my God, that's Krista.
That's
Krista
right. You know,
knows.
that was her talking about
That's
you being
Krista
real. Like,
knows.
no. But I say that to say, again, for an example, I'm bubbly. I'm always here.
Yeah.
I'm here. But look, if I have to do so much in one day, or if I get a certain phone call in a day, I'm not gonna be that.
Right.
Don't take it personal. It's the same whole cup theory. Like if I am half full, be the other half.
Exactly.
Pour me up a little bit. If I'm at 40, be my 60 at the moment. Don't take it personal. What's wrong with you? Or here you go.
Here you go with your bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's unfair to whatever I'm going through at the day.
100%.
And then look, I just thought about this, and then if I bury that, then it's another issue. Yeah, so now you creating your own issue or your own problem because now it's festered and you thought you compartmentalized, but really it's inside you and it's rotten. Right. And then next time that gets triggered, you're gonna blow up. You know? And the thing too, like when you get in a relationship, you want to be with somebody that you're allowed to be your decompressed lowest self with. Yes. And still feel comfortable, right? Yes. Like I kind of think like when you're in the dating phase and stuff like that, I think it's smart to get high or get like sloppy drunk in front of the person you want to be with. Because I feel like how they handle that situation is gonna be a really good dictation on what it's gonna look like when your shit ain't together. Right? Like how do they handle you? Like how do they handle you in those situations? How do they look at you? How are they present you? Are they leaving you fucked up like you figured out yourself? Or I feel like some of those kind of I ain't saying do it on purpose, but I'm saying it's a natural occurrence that happens if you socialize and shit like that. But you gotta see how people handle you when you're in a fucked up spot or you're not at your best. You gotta see how they gonna handle you if it's with care or if it's with contempt. Because then it's going to kind of give you an idea on what you got to look forward to. Listen, I'm glad you said this because I always bring up my daughter's father in our situation because it's the foundation of Kenya's keepsake. Because again, the split was, I thought that it was graceful and very applicable. What people would say, amicable, right? Yep. Right? But it didn't turn out that way. But I I just thought about this right now while you were saying that. And that is one thing that I thought to myself. I did not want to suffer with him. If that makes sense. It does. So a lot of people always think like, oh, I want to be with the one I can't live without or all of that. No, scratch that. Can you suffer with this person? Can you see? And that's a great example right there. But if that person, they say the sickness through health. And again, not to sound cruel or nothing, but it's about self-discovery and knowing yourself. I did not see myself if he was sick, wanting to be there. If he was this, like it was at some point, and again, not saying it bad, but it was a disgust. Like you sick, like get the fuck away. Get this NyQuil and get on. Yeah, like why you still acting? But that's a human, and I think that's a problem too. Like I feel like sometimes people, you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but I also think that if your intentions aren't pure, you're gonna double hurting yourself for the sake of sparing their feelings, and that's not a healthy way to live, right? No. And I'm not saying you should always be off for yourself. Sometimes you gotta fall on the sword for people. But what I'm saying is, if you're talking about a long-term bond, relationship, marriage, whatever, long-term relationship, however you want to put that, you do have to be able to say, if this shit goes bad. Is this the person I want to be in the foxhole with? Yeah. Because if I don't want to dig out of the dirt with this person, because whatever it is, I don't like this, I don't like that, blah blah. And you got to be careful not to mix that with like surface shit. Yes. Like absolutely. Like oh my God, I hate the way this nigga chews his food or some shit like I feel like people get kind of stuck on the surface shit, and you're not really thinking about like the deeper things. Like I don't want to get out of a shitty hole with this nigga because this is a nigga that always want to take credit for everything. So something like that'll happen, and then he'll act like I wasn't in the hole there with him. And then once we get out,
this nigga acting as if he saved us instead of it was a joint. You know, whatever that
Ellie,
looks
you
like.
sound like you telling my whole life story better than I am right now. No, seriously,
That's funny.
because when I sit up there, that was the thing. Like, it's easy. And again, I don't mind telling my story all day, every day. But everybody's like, you didn't do your, like, and they're not saying these exact words, but like, basically, like, I didn't stick in there.
Right.
Like, how that's the father, I mean, the father and the child. And I'm like, y'all, I can only tell y'all so much in a short amount of time, because it's like, and I guess, and I was saying in one of the episodes, like, I was 25 years old. So this is about 16 years ago. I can tell my story now with conviction in my voice. So it might sound like I'm, oh, don't care. But this was 16 years ago.
You grown and gotten over it, and now you learned.
So over it. Yeah. And also, I never regret it, because it was nothing that made me look back, from there. But I also say that too. I tried, which is why I stayed way too long. I tried for the surface level things. You know what I'm saying? But it was way deeper than that. It was like you said, it was the inconsideration. Yeah. It was the taking credit for things. It was me being there while you weren't. And then when you did have the opportunity to it, you still didn't. Right. So it was those, like I said, deeper things. The other stuff, like, okay, I was like, oh, I grew up in an 11 2-parent home. I got to do this thing too. It was 5 whole years too long. And it was just like, because I tried the surface level things, And that's why with self-discovery and all that, you have to know yourself. Yeah, 100%. Because like you said, if it's not with with your authentic self, it's not going to be put out 100%. There right. 100%. It's not going to be with love. And to be in a relationship, I'm the most loving person. I desire to be married one day. Right. But not just to end, because a lot of people like, oh, I was engaged and unengaged. But I could just imagine like being that, and I did not see that with. Yeah. It's like. Yeah, that's I mean, like you said, you saved yourself from that. And so I know a lot of times people say, like you said, 5 years too long. Education is however long it takes you to learn it. Listen. You know what I mean? I know. Girls in college. Yeah, looking at 5 years. Right. But you gotta learn however you gotta learn it. And I do think that in contrast to that too, sometimes people do give up on things a little too early. Yes, absolutely. And I feel like if you fought to get in it, you gotta fight to stay in, right? And then you gotta fight to get out of it. And what I'm saying is like commitments is something that's too fleeting, right? If I make a commitment to you, then I gotta say, okay, I'm really committed to this, right? Because I know, for example, a lot of times what happens is you leave a commitment because you feel like, well, I can get a fresh start. So if I get a new girl, I'm gonna just do all these things that I didn't do with my current girl. Or if I get a new dude, I'm gonna make sure I do X, Y, and Z, and he has A, B, C, right? You know what I'm saying? But the funny part about that is like it's that greener grass ain't greener shit. Yeah. But the fact is you can always start new with where you at. Yeah. And say, you know what, let's redo this shit. Let's redo how we talk to each other. Let's kind of reconnect. Yeah. And now granted, you gotta break old habits, because the thing is, your natural instinct is to kind of lean back in to whatever y'all allowed each other to do to get where y'all at. But you gotta identify and say, okay, either we're gonna change this because I feel like it's value staying here. Yes. Or you make a decision like you made and say, hey, I tried. You did a version of trying. And it's not, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. It's not. And then they don't look at the outcome on the children. Right. Because they feel or they made the decision that is best for the child. And that is what, now here's the thing. I'm very big on effective communication and open communication, especially with children. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know. I didn't have to have a discussion with my child. She was 5. She's not old that. She wasn't at the time, but I do feel that at some point there should be discussions with your child about what's going on. Right. And what's best for them. Right. You know what I mean? Because us thinking what's best for them, like you said, also, your children are their own individuals as well. That's a fact. we're individuals, our parents individual, we're all individuals.
Yep.
As much as we want a mini me and all that. Look, I would love to think that my daughter is just like me.
Yep.
I mean, she is, but she is still her own
She's
self.
her own person, right?
You know, she has traits, something people. She moved the way I move and all that, but that is still her.
Yeah.
So what's best? What I would say was best for her. Like she's 22 now. If I come to her and be like, "Oh, I did this because this is best for you," she gonna look at me like,
"How you know what's best for me?"
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And I get the children 5, 12, 13.
They're not old enough to make the decision. They don't have the capability.
They should be included in the decisions.
Right.
You know,
right.
And I also feel, and and again, like, we bringing it on back. Parenthood is different because I also feel that everything should be discussed, not necessarily explained. Okay. Right? I'm saying discuss. For an example, just one. If you have to change your child's school, explain to them why. Yeah. It's not fair. A lot of parents are, oh, it's none of your business. I did this. It's best for you. Right. Or whatever the case may be without explaining the reason. Now, I'm not saying you got to go all this dead. Like, look, I couldn't to pray for the private school no more. So you got, but no, we're moving. We have to go to another school. It's because they're leaving their friends, their identity. It might be a different neighborhood. You don't know what they're going through. Right. That was just a small example. Yeah. But I feel like parents get so caught up in the shell. It's my business. You don't need to know anything. Like, but it's affecting them. Yeah. Yeah. So I agree. And then there's a point where I stopped that agreement, but I do agree, right? So what I do agree with is you should talk to your kids. You should give them that respect of, if when things are happening in the house, we can have a discussion about it. And I'm even going to allow you to have input. Now, your input may not have any impact. Yes. But I'm going to at least allow you to voice your input just so you can know that you're being seen, you're being heard, and yada, yada, yada. But as it pertains to the relationship of the parents, yes, I don't think children should be afforded too much information there. No, not too much. And unless it's gonna be a drastic change, like mommy and daddy getting divorced. Yes, that's a conversation. But like every argument or every time me and mom on, I'm not talking to you about that. Oh yes, no, you know what I mean? No. Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what you said. I'm not saying that. No, but I'm just speaking because, like, when you're dealing with kids brains ain't even fully developed. They don't understand things, and a lot of times y'all end up growing your kids up faster than they should grow because they in conversations and they having relationships with you that they shouldn't have. Like, I feel like I don't want to my kids. I don't want. I'm not like, I love my kids. I have a 5. I have a 12, and I have a soon to be 16-year-old. Right. I'm not interested in being a friend right now, right? Because right now what I'm trying to do is, like, I have to guide you on what you need to be doing so you can be functional. Yes. And then once you get to, like, I'm assuming right now your relationship with your daughter now is much more of a friendship than it is a parenting thing, because she's at an age where, okay, I gave you the guidance. You do what you want to do with it, but we can always talk. I'm always here for you, and I'm always got advice for you. But it's not advice as if it's an iron fist of advice, like, you're gonna do this or else. Exactly. It's gonna be, hey, you should think about doing this, and I can help you do this. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But I'll still help you because you're my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like what the mistake parents have is they be trying to be buddy with their kids at that 5 to 16 or 0 to 16, 17, 18 until they get out of college. I mean, they said, technically, to me, I really want you to graduate from college until before we start having that kind of relationship, because you don't know your head from your ass. You know what I mean? And you try, like I remember I had an argument with my daughter where it's like, you're telling me about what's happening in school and I've already graduated. Right. Like, what are you talking about? Oh no, it's so different. Like, it ain't that different. Not that different. It ain't that different. I'm sorry. Like, y'all, you're not that. You're not. It's not that different. And you're trying to play me now because you know, cause like they get older and they talk to their friends. How they talk to their friends? Don't bring that shit home. Right. Because you're gonna bring that shit home and you're gonna create way more problems than it does create, like, value for you. So don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not one of those parents like, oh well, I'm gonna tell you exactly what the fuck to do and you better do what I say. But I'm not playing with you. No.
Like we not friends. Like don't talk to me like that. Like I'm not your bro. Don't call me bro. We not there. Yeah. That's not where we at with it.
And it's even that. It's funny you say that with the kids, but it's even that with like relationships.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? Facts. I hear so many women, joking or not, like, oh, bro, and stuff and that. And again, I just feel like I'm going to say be yourself, be your authentic self. Right. But I mean, people are transitioning. Yeah. Because for me, stuff like that makes me uncomfortable. Right. Right. And that's just because that's how I am. Like, even when we were talking about the traffic, road rage, not my thing. Yeah. I try so hard. I'm one of those, like, you're not nice. Like, it's so bad. Like, I try so hard. Yeah. My brother, oh. Yeah. But even my daughter, like their road rage is up there. But even with the how you talk to other people, yeah, with the adults, the parents, right, a guy that I'm talking to, or any guy, mm-hmm, like it's still like calling him bro. Nah, or yeah, it's not happening. Even my daughter or sis and stuff, yeah, like that, like we're just not happening. That. Like we're not doing that. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. It's about practice, though. Yeah. It's about personal practice. If you continue to do that, if you hear it somewhere, if you think it's cute, and you don't have to repeat everything that's happening. Now, I'm not saying it's not hard. There are some things, some words that I have adapted that I wish I haven't, and I'm trying to stop saying it, but I'm an overthinker, so I'll catch them, and I'll be like, oh my God, I said it. I said it, let me stop it, because you do hear it. I understand it. But I want everybody to just look at how you look when you start to say this kind of stuff. Yeah. And look at your children too. Yeah. The children are looking crazy. They are. They talking crazy too. The children talking and acting crazy. My goodness. And I mentor kids. Yeah. They need it. I thank you. They need it. But they run your girl low. No, that's I think all kids is good for is just running you low. I'm telling you, I love the babies. They parasites, man. Oh my goodness. In a positive way. Yes, in a positive way. I believe the children are future. Teach them well. Yes. Oh God. Oh my goodness. Elliot, that's the good thing about the Keepsake Corner. We be running time. It's always a good time. Then time come out. Always. But I can never let you go without this keepsake quick fire thing that I got going on. Got you. All right. So what this is how you know we at the end of it. I just always scroll through and I pick some quick fire questions and you just answer them. Okay. Just answer them how they first come. Some of them be good. Let me see. Cause see, I feel like I know some of those answers to yours, so no, I can't do hold on, no, cause hold on, wait a minute. These are y'all hold on with me. How do you show love when words aren't enough? Actions. Okay. Give me some examples. It don't have to be no by just doing things that you know will make somebody feel like they're seen or heard or appreciated. Mm-hmm. So actions. I'm not really a flower guy or nothing like that, mm-hmm, but I'll do shit that you care about. Mm-hmm. If you care about it or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. If obviously words ain't going to transition. So mm-hmm, actions. Good. Actions. That's good too. Look, I always good. Hold on, I wasn't getting into that flower thing. I was gonna say that too when we were talking about the dating and the liking stuff like that. That's the other thing. Don't make dates interviews. Right. Because the same thing. I love flowers, but I'm not gonna tell you that. Because that doesn't mean that I want them every week. Now that would be nice. I'm not saying no, but then if you're gonna do that, do that because you want to. Facts. But then do something else. Yeah, don't give. You can't give away the keys. You can't give away the answers to the test. Just see how you gonna do it. See how you roll. Like that is cool. For sure. Oh my gosh. Let me see. What's a piece of advice about relationships you used to believe but no longer do? That's a good one. A piece of advice for a relationship that you used to believe and no longer believe. That's it. Wow. I know. Look, I'm over here thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking hard. Like, hold on. Like, what was that you no longer believe? Happy wife, happy life. Oh my God, I'm glad you said that because that is one of. Yeah, I'm not on that bullshit no more. That happy wife, happy life. That shit is out.
Yeah. And I don't mean it like that. My wife is happy. I think. Well, ask her. I don't know. But anyway, right. But I believe that we got to be mutually happy. But I can't. But another thing is, I know I'm not the cause or the reason why you're happy or unhappy, and you're not the cause of why I'm happy or unhappy, because that's not something that you can cause. Like, you can't say I want you to be happy or I'm gonna do this to make you happy, because that shit is just fleeting, right? But happiness is like, that's like an internal struggle you got to figure out for yourself. Like, if you're not a happy person, there's nothing that anybody can do to make you happy. Yes. And that if you're gonna just be nasty about shit, it's because you're just a nasty person. That's just who you are at that part. It don't mean you gotta be that forever. Yes. But wherever you at right now, that's what you at. So what I'm saying is the happy wife, happy life shit, it makes it seem as if whatever you do has to be in atonement to make sure that your wife is always in a position of happiness, which is something you can't control. So it's a destination that will never be reached. And what you'll find is you'll never create headway towards it if she's not happy. Like, happy wife, happy life should be something that a woman tells a woman. Like, you should be happy. And in the same way, a man should tell another, be like, "Hey, happy. If you want to be happy husband, happy life, like, you got to be happy for yourself. I can't make you happy though." That is, I say happy spouse, happy house. Yeah. Because I'm with you. We both got to be happy. We both got to be happy, but I can't. But I can. I think the best relationships are happiness that are not generated by the other person. Come on. Because if I got to be in the same room as you to make you happy, or you're not happy if I'm not around, then that's a dependency, and I'm not interested. So go do you. I'm gonna do me, and we're gonna do us. Yes. But happiness is that's your business. That's your business. All right. And on that, I want y'all to get y'all some happy business. Me and Elliot gonna be out. Yep. I usually ask him to say something to leave on a note, but that one right there. Yeah. That look, I'm gonna write that one down. Y'all write those one down. That's funny. Elliot, thank you for coming to the Keepsake Corner. Anytime. Always a favorite. And we out, y'all. We out. Peace, y'all.